Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Weekly Academics and you're listening to Faizan Amdad. So, today I am recording the 7th podcast of our 4th chapter, and in this one we'll be discussing the contributions of Lala Lajpat Rai. So, as we've already understood and looked into the contributions of Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, we move on to the third of this trio, that is Lala Lajpat Rai. And after having done the contributions of Lala Lajpat Rai, we'll be formally done with the trio, that is Bal Pal Lal. Okay, so let's get on with it. Again, this one's quite easy to understand. Just know what the person did, nothing much to remember. And yes, as I always say, you can easily put this into the chart form. If you've already made the chart, you can just add this content to your already made chart. Okay, so let's begin. Contributions of Lala Lajpat Rai. Just a quick background. So Lala Lajpat Rai was someone who was born in Jagrao, which is a place in Ludhiana district of Punjab. He was born on 28 January 1865. As a career, he started being a legal practitioner in Hisar, and then later on in 1892 he shifted to Lahore and established himself as a lawyer, as one of the prominent lawyers in Punjab. Okay, so that's a background. Now his contributions as an educationalist and a forceful writer. So as a writer and an educationalist, Lala Lajpat Rai worked closely with Swami Dayanand and was quite under the influence of Swami Dayanand, and he also worked associated with Arya Samaj movement, which we've seen earlier. And Lala Lajpat Rai's father was Munshi Radhakrishna, and it is because of him that he came in contact with Swami Dayanand and started working with Arya Samaj. He also, as I said, he was a great educationalist. So he was quite instrumental in expansion of the DAV College at Lahore, which was founded by Lala Lajpat Rai on the 1st of June 1886. Okay, DAV College of Lahore. So, and that's the part of he being an educationalist and as a forceful writer, which you can add under your column of literature and press. He's written various biographies of Mazzini, Garibaldi, Swami Dayanand, Pandit Gurudatta, and these people to mention. I repeat, Mazzini, Garibaldi, Swami Dayanand, and Pandit Gurudatta. Along with these, he has some other publications also, which include The Call to Young India, England's Debt to India, and The Political Future of India. So these are some of his writings. Moving on to his activities abroad. So Lala Lajpat Rai went to England as a member of the Congress delegation in 1914. From England, he went to America and then stayed in America for 5 years. Later on in 1916, while he was in America in 1916, he founded the Indian Home Rule League in the United States, which is different from the Home Rule League of Annie Besant, which we discussed when we talked about Bal Gangadhar Tilak. That's different. This is the Indian Home Rule League, which can come under the organization column of Lala Lajpat Rai. Also in USA, he started a monthly magazine known as Young India, and through this magazine, another part of press and literature, he spread the message of Swaraj and India's right to attain self-government and Swaraj. Okay, so that's his activities abroad. Now moving on to the next, that is his contribution towards the freedom struggle. Number one, as always, his role in anti-partition and Swadeshi movement. So again, Lala Lajpat Rai, being an assertive nationalist, was quite a supporter of Swadeshi and anti-partition. So in 1905, along with Gopal Krishna Gokhale, he had been to England to persuade the British leaders to not undertake the partition of Bengal, but we all know that they did not really listen to it. So during the anti-partition agitation or the anti-partition movement, he went across the country, called upon men and women to fight the repression, and he was quite bold with his ideas. And he said, and I quote, "The primary thing in is the prestige of the government, and the boycott strikes at the root of that prestige," unquote. Another of his quotes is, I quote, "Nationalism is nurtured by the blood of martyrs. Repression only adds teeth to it." Unquote. So all these lines show us how bold he was with his ideologies and in expressing himself. Okay, so that was how he contributed to anti-partition and Swadeshi movement. Moving on to the next, he as an assertive nationalist and a brave fighter. So Lala Lajpat Rai was someone who suffered a real lot. And in 1907, one example, in 1907, Lala Lajpat Rai and Sardar Ajit Singh, they were both charged and convicted with seditious speeches. And for this reason, Lala Lajpat Rai was deported to Mandalay and kept there for 6 months in 6 months of prison. That was one of his sufferings. Okay, moving on to the next one, which is his contribution towards the Congress. So, as a member of the Congress, he presided over the historic Calcutta session of 1920. Yes, by that time the Congress was all reunited. So he presided over the Calcutta session of the Congress in 1920. And in this session, the resolution for non-cooperation was adopted. So, like the other assertives, even Lala Lajpat Rai wanted some bolder moves, including civil disobedience and stuff. But yes, owing to Gandhi's respect and owing to the fact that they wanted to try something, they went ahead with the non-cooperation movement. And the details of non-cooperation, yes, we'll be studying later on in later chapters. So that was his contribution towards the Congress. Moving on to the third point, that is the organizations of the parties that he formed. So Lala Lajpat Rai formed the Swaraj Party and Nationalist Party. Let's look into how. So in 1922, the non-cooperation movement got suspended. Details of it, as I said, we'll look further in the later chapters. This will surely come up. But just remember for now that in 1922, the non-cooperation movement was suspended, and this disappointed a lot of people. So, Lala Lajpat Rai and some others, they formed a Swaraj Party, and they decided to contest elections for the Legislative Council in 1923 via the Swaraj Party. So, Lala Lajpat Rai was elected to the Central Legislative Assembly in 1925, and in 1925 he became the deputy leader of the party. Okay, so 1923 he got elected to Central Legislative Assembly. In 1925 he became the deputy leader of the party. Later, so now Swaraj Party was quite successful. So later, along with Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, Lala Lajpat Rai and Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, they formed a Nationalist Party. And this party also achieved significant electoral success in 1926. And Lala Lajpat Rai got elected to the Central Legislative Assembly again, this time through Nationalist Party in 1926. So that was the third point. Moving on to the fourth, last and the most important point, which is demonstration against the Simon Commission. Again, details of Simon Commission we'll all look in later chapter in detail. For now, let's look into the part of Lala Lajpat Rai in this movement. So, in Lahore, a demonstration was done against the Simon Commission on 30th October 1928. And you all might have heard this slogan a lot, Simon Go Back. So that was something given by Lala Lajpat Rai in this demonstration, which happened in Lahore on 30th October 1928. And on this day, there was a lathi charge, and Lala Lajpat Rai was assaulted by a British sergeant. He was hit badly with lathis and he was brutally injured. He sustained injuries from this, but he did not really completely recover, and due to those injuries he died on 17 November 1928. And because of his death, there was like mourning throughout the country, because people from all over the country really respected him. He had played a huge part in the national agitation, and because of all his bravery in Punjab, he is known as Sher-e-Punjab. Okay, the Lion of Punjab. So he came to be known as Sher-e-Punjab throughout the country now, and the entire country looked up to him as a very prominent Indian leader. He was also the first leader to write about problems of socialism, labor organizations. He had various political ideologies about Indian politics, Indian societies, Indian economics. He had remarkable knowledge about these stuff also. So he was quite a quite a remarkable person. And yes, like other assertives, he was someone who suffered a lot, suffered so much that he died. Okay, so that's contributions of Lala Lajpat Rai. That's for this podcast. And yes, I'll be making one last podcast on this chapter, in which, in short, I'll be discussing, that will not be a long one, probably just 5 to 8 minutes, I guess, in which we'll be discussing about the differences between assertive nationalists and early nationalists, their method of struggle, their characteristics, and their beliefs. Okay, so until then, you're listening to Faiza Inamdar at Weekly Academics. Also, if you want to listen to something soothing, beautiful, calm, light, and just relax, you can listen to Your Life in My Voice, their podcast made by Dr. Sabiha, all available in YouTube. Until then, you're listening to Faiza Inamdar at Weekly Academics, and I'll get back to you soon with difference between early nationalists and assertive nationalists. Until then, be home, be safe, and be healthy. Bye-bye.